I'm James Blunt and you're watching Sarah and No Name After Dark.
No time goes by, I will always be in love with you in 1973.
Hi, this is Liz Winstead.
You are one of the genii behind The Daily Show.
The Tammy Faye interview on Larry King.
Tammy, have they given you how long when are you gonna die?
What'd you eat?
What'd you eat? I just want a hamburger, Larry.
Sarah and No Name, they do the morning show, ruling on the airwaves. Alice Radio, Maddie's the producer, and Hooman runs the boards. Me, I'm Black the Ripper, representing for the dwarves. Oh yeah, listen in now. Sarah and No Name are after dark.
Oh, I'm ready to go.
It's the only late night show. It's the only late night show. It's the only late night show.
Here he comes. Here he comes.
Hi, James.
The studio.
Come on in.
Happy.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
Hey, I'm James.
Nice to meet you. Have a
Hey,
seat.
James, No Name. I've been thinking about you a lot. I've been
Yeah,
studying
we've been
you.
thinking about
reading
you.
up on you. And when I got there this morning, there was this massive poster of you. Just like life-size poster. When I got off the elevator, I was like, he's here already? What's going on?
Where was that? I'd like to see that.
It's huge.
You
I'll show
didn't
it to
see
you.
it? It's right out there. We actually wondered if you have to approve promotional items like that. Like, here's our promotional marketing plan, here's the giant life-size posters of you.
I definitely have to turn up for the odd photo shoot.
Well, sure, the shoot itself,
Yeah.
but you don't know how big it's going to be. Wouldn't it just be stunning if you saw
I know how big I am.
You're so big. You're a big un.
He's larger than life.
Yeah. So how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well. It's good to be back here. This is a good old place, San Francisco. I enjoy it very much. So, and always fun to come in here into Alice.
Well, obviously you like the station because you're doing like your one lounge and your one show, in the Northern Hemisphere-wise, or whatever, North America-wise.
Yeah.
Here in San Francisco, which is huge.
What better place?
I can't think of one.
The thing is that I really want my legacy as a musician to be the most punctual musician in rock and roll.
Well, it's going
And
that
if,
way.
If I can achieve that,
Is
then
it-
I will be happy.
I detected notice facetiousness in there.
No,
I mean,
I'm absolutely serious.
so being punctual is important to you.
I used to be in the military.
There you
and
go.
Some things you just don't let go of.
Your punctuality makes you hotter,
I know, you're scaring me,
hotter
Sarah.
than you were before.
It's one,
listen,
of,
Maddie,
it's one of my most endearing features.
It is. It made you 22% sexier. And I know that everywhere you go, you have the girls dripping all over
22%.
you. Yeah,
That's good.
Like you were just hot before. Now you're like, wow.
I know. He's
And
got the
he's
look I
on
want to
time.
go for. I'm going to grow out my hair,
You
dude.
do have a good look going
And
on, I
think
have
I'm
to
going
say.
for your look.
Now, when you were in the Army, obviously, you're, all just clipped off and there's no 4 or 5 day growth going.
Yeah, I had a short back and sides, I suppose. But yeah, now in this new greater job that I have, I can just, on the whole, get up later and not shave. And also, by doing this, I realized that with my first album, I was singing a bit like a girl. And so I'm just trying to be more manly now.
Oh, really?
So,
You're
here I am.
roughing it up.
Yeah.
You look like you're kind of buff, dude. You got I see your
I
pecs
know.
through your shirt. You're kind of like...
Why are you
You're
looking
on
at
some
his shirt?
exercise
I'm
regime.
clenching.
Yeah, okay.
But,
Flexing.
But yeah, this is the new manly.
I like it. I'm going to go for it, man. I'm not shaving anymore.
It's Sarah No Name Alice's Morning Show.
morning.
James Blunt here in the studio with us. He's doing an Alice Lounge for us. He's playing it now in Zen. Get your tickets while they last. One thing that I loved that I read about you was that you when the last record came out with You're Beautiful on it, and it just was huge. I mean, it sold 11 million copies. It completely changed your life. And you're like, wow, those are a bunch of songs I wrote that I really didn't know anyone was going to hear. And that, do you feel a lot more self-conscious now the second record comes out? You know that there's like this worldwide base of people that are all going to go.
I definitely recognize and know that there's going to be an audience.
Right.
And then when I wrote songs, although people spoke about the pressure of doing that for a second album, and everyone wants to. They talk about that sophomore slump as the phrase, people just spoke about that all the time.
So did you deal with that, like heavy drinking? Like, what did you do?
Yeah, what'd you do to cope?
I was doing that beforehand
Okay,
anyway.
great.
But
how
no,
great
you know what? I
musicians work.
recognized that I'm not in it in order to sell millions of albums, and you certainly don't try and compete with previous albums because you can't write songs thinking I'm going to write these songs in order to sell units. You write songs because you need to, but as a musician, you need to express yourself. And I went away. I got away from the media, from the music industry, from the noise of the touring world that I found myself in, and I went to a Spanish island and I wrote songs. And I wrote them from a human perspective about the last 3.5 years, and then I went into a studio and I recorded them like in the way that they did in the 70s, an old studio where we faced each other as a band, 5 of us who had toured for 2.5 years, so we knew each other pretty well.
Yeah.
And we played this album from track 1 to track 10 and got a performance, and we did it with as little technology or as little fancy machinery between us as musicians.
You did it old school.
We did
you kept
old
it
school.
organic.
And the way the result of that is something that you can hear skin on strings, and you have an album in the old school way that it's a body of work. This is not about just one song that you hear as a single on the radio.
So the way it is now.
It's this is an album, and the word album seems to be drifting out of our kind of terminology.
My kids don't know what an album is.
And we really constructed an album that you can press play from the top and listen to at the bottom, and it's got heart and soul.
Huh.
James Blunt, you can see him perform that, of course, at Now and Then, and just in a moment out in the Alice Lounge.
I would find it hard to believe that, like you've been working on stuff, all of a sudden you hit it big. Like one of those songs when you get to that, island in Spain, you gotta be like, I'm so stoked. I'm on an island in Spain.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's got to be great. Like, I just...
Well, I heard, like, you don't even speak Spanish. Like, you just went there because then you wouldn't have to interact with anyone and you'd just be there and be alone.
Well, no, it's a big party island, actually, so there are clubs there.
Oh.
And I went clubbing and I convinced my record label it was really quiet. They sent me there. There are big clubs, up to about 15,000 people in each club, and they start
That's a big club.
2 in the morning, and they finish around about 9 in the morning, and then the day club opens at 9 in the morning, and you go on from there. But so I would, go out and live a bit of experience, and then come home, and I'd write about it, and then.
And then you did put out a techno record. That's amazing.
And then what I do as well, I went in the winter, and then it was really secluded, no one around, only the Spanish farmers, and all the restaurants and bars and clubs were closed. And in that seclusion, that was really good, just to be away and be able to reflect and focus on what I do. And often it gets distracting in this world. I find myself in some magazines about who I may or may not be dating, and those things are irrelevant and not real.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just focusing on what I really do and what is important, and what we should be talking about much more in this day and age is the notion of art and creation.
The music.
And music.
The music matters.
Are you happy? Are you a really happy person?
I'm having the time of my life, and
Are
I'm
you
very
really?
happy indeed, yeah.
That's fantastic. So no, not like because a lot of people fame,
They
especially
become the tortured artist kind of,
right. That it can be incredibly.
I think fame is the worst invention in the world. I think celebrity is a very ugly human construct. And I think if we want to celebrate people, we should be celebrating doctors and nurses and teachers. And so yeah, I do try and just detract myself. Oh, thanks.
That's really. I mean, Jesus.
And in this day and age, yeah, I think it's distracting how we do focus so much on that, and I keep myself away from it and do a very simple job, and that's as a musician.
Huh.
James
that takes a tremendous amount of focus, though.
It definitely does.
I respect that.
I like that you're untainted by
Yeah,
it.
it's like
That's nice.
It's got the eye of the tiger.
Coming up.
I needed a place to stay, and she said, come and stay with me. If you're going to go to Los Angeles, you should really always find a famous Hollywood actress to stay with.